thirsty.
And thirsty. Here we go. Yes. Oh my gosh. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. That's good. So, in case you didn't know, at Black Dog, you can now get shoes and
Brew.
a brew.
Today switched up our pizza. We are having the buffalo chicken pizza from Mozzarella's. It's so good.
It is. It's amazing.
Shout out Joe Bean.
And Mozzarella's.
They
So
make our pies.
come to Black Dog and get some shoes, have some brews, go to Mozzarella's, get some food. You'll be all set.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Cheers.
We made it to Friday.
Yes, we did it.
She's making fun of me because I'm still drinking my beer from
I've
lunch.
Moved on to water. So here we go.
I'll move back.
Let's do this.
Steady drinker, just like I'm a steady runner. I don't go
Slow
for
and-
speed. I go
Slow
for.
and steady.
We're not allowed to say slow.
It's the turtle.
Speed
not
is
the turtle.
relative.
You know the turtle and the rabbit.
It's relative.
Don't you?
I know. Yes, I know. I know.
Okay.
We both, by the way, are former English teachers.
Yes.
Well, ELA
Maybe.
now. It was English when I was teaching.
My master's is in literacy. Here we are.
I don't have a master's. My master's is in
BS.
basically a little bit of everything.
Okay.
Today
So-
we're going to show off our shoe knowledge,
Yes.
though. I'm excited.
Yes, because we are smart. We are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So let me just say, I had been a customer here like twice for shoes when I started working here. And it was so intimidating to start working here. I'm like, I've never heard of any of these brands except the
Yes.
ones I had purchased. I thought Asics was basics.
Yes, and so I remember coming in, and Daniel helped me when I first started getting into running. And he was talking to me, he made me run, which I was like, okay, this is a little weird. But I did it. And he was talking to me about my gait and how my foot landed, and I had no clue what he was talking about. And I was like, okay.
And it takes a while. I mean,
does.
we're being trained, and we may have helped some of you when we were being trained, like trying to look to see if people's ankles were. I'm like, I don't know. Are they? What if I'm wrong? Are they going to be like crippled? It's not. Listen, I think what we really want people to take away from this show today is that ultimately, this is going out on a limb.
Yes.
But ultimately, the shoe is not going to break you.
No.
It might make you.
It might. You could have a speedy shoe and you're going to feel amazing, but
But if you're breaking down, I mean, there are things that could happen with the wrong foot or the wrong foot, which is truth. But the wrong fit of shoe can mess you up, which
Yes.
we are very and we'll talk about that. But, if you come into the store with like an injury or a chronic pain,
there's no miracle that's going to happen.
the shoe's not going to like magically heal you. Now,
In the long run, it might help your feet feel better. But like as soon as you put the shoe on, it's not going to be like, oh, you're
Right.
healed. So,
it may allow for healing, and it very many times can be preventative.
Yes.
Especially for things like plantar fasciitis, shin splints. Those are the two we hear all the time.
yes.
And,
All the time.
And like blisters, I would say.
Yes.
So there's all kinds. So we're not giving you a college degree
No.
today. What we actually want to talk about is our personal favorite shoes that no one has ever heard of. I mean, maybe some of you have. So like a month, 6 weeks ago, we got a brand new shoe.
Brand new shoe. This is the Brooks Trace. Now, it is a very interesting shoe. Let me tell you why. I am, in case you didn't know, I am a Brooks girl. I love Brooks. So when I saw that there is a brand new model, this is the Trace number 1, which means this is the first model. Because that's another thing people don't get is that shoes do update. So like we have the Ghost 13. So this is the 13th model. This is the first model of this shoe. So I was super excited to try it out. Now, what's different about it than all the other Brooks shoes that we have? This is like actually a sister shoe. That's hard to say. Sister shoe to the Ghost and the Glycerin. So it is a cushioned shoe. Yes. Put your
Oh
glycerin.
no, my
Come on,
hips are really tight. This
You
is
can
not ladylike. There you go.
There's a glycerin. This is like the little sister. So it is a cushioned shoe, but it's not as cushioned as the Ghost or the glycerin. But the price
little
point,
sisters are awesome.
but the price point is unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
The price point for the Brooks Trace is $100. So for a cushioned shoe for $100, you just can't beat it. Now, does it feel as cushioned as a glycerin? Obviously not. But for the price, I love it. And what I really love about it is the fit. It has a little bit more space in the toe box than the newest version of the glycerin. So your toes, look, there's dog hair in there. You can tell I've used these.
You live in them.
So the toe box is just a little bit bigger, gives my toes a little bit more space to spread out. The heel drop, which is something you might hear us talking about a lot. So we'll pause here and explain what a heel drop is. Do you want to
Sure.
go at it?
Every shoe has an offset or a drop heel to toe. So to give you an example, the highest is like in the Ghost or the Trace. It's 12 millimeters, measured in millimeters. It's not like you're, like
Walking
this.
on high heels.
Right. And a lot of shoes are higher, like a 10-ish, I'd say, is kind of the average. Some brands, like the Hoka, you're lower. You're at a 5 or a 4.
Depending.
And then there's the Ultras,
Which are
a 0, which basically, it doesn't mean it doesn't have cushion. There's
No.
still levels of cushioning, but it's not elevating your heel. It's letting your foot sit however it's going to sit. Now you can put people in those, so let's say you put them in those two and an Ultra, and they won't know the difference. And then there's some people who are like the Princess and the Pea, and they're like,
That's
"Oh my
me.
gosh, I feel." So Daniel, our boss, he can probably work with anything. He makes fun of us.
Yes, yes.
But we're way more extra than he is. And
Surprise!
so we get all kinds here. People who are like, "Oh, I need my heel to be higher, I need it to be lower," and then they bring in their ailments. And it took me a long time. I tried to find out, like, well, is there a drop that's better for an Achilles issue or a plantar fasciitis issue? And not necessarily. Sometimes it's just changing your shoe so that you're stretching differently or landing differently, but there's not really like, oh, I have plantar fasciitis, so I need a 0 drop shoe. It doesn't really work like that.
It all really comes down to what feels best on your foot. And so typically what feels best on my foot is a higher drop. I like the 10 millimeter to 12 millimeter drop. That's just what feels best to me. And I am a Princess in the Pea, and I can feel a difference, in case you were wondering. I do. I do want a tiara, but anyway. So the Trace has a 12 millimeter heel drop, which is probably the highest. I don't think any shoe goes higher than 12, at least that we sell. So it is going to be for somebody that likes the higher heel drop. What I can see myself doing in these shoes is racing a 5K. So ultimately that's what I want to do in them, is try them out, because they're lightweight, so they are lighter than the Ghost and the Glycerin, and they still have some cushion. So that's why I love them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and it's cool because I feel like it's number one. It's the first model of this shoe. So I'm interested to see where it goes and where they take it from here.
And it is a shoe, if you're coming in as a first-time runner, we'll probably be bringing out to you more and more, because it's a great price point, but it's a little bit more shoe, I would say more cushion than a lot of shoes at the $100 price point.
Yes.
So it's pretty awesome.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Onto your shoes.
So I, like you, are a Brooks girl, and I wear some Brooks too, but I consider myself a Diadora girl. Shout out Alex. I always tag him in my stuff on Instagram because I'm like, see, I have more Diadoras. Right now I'm rotating between 3 pairs of shoes. They're all Diadoras. But these came in right in the fall, and I was like, what are these? And so they were my gift to myself after the mini marathon. And I mean, I have loved on these shoes. They are so light. Now Diadoras typically have a gel cushion, and it does make them a little bit heavier because it goes all the way. It's not just in the heel, it goes all the way through the shoe.
I like how you can see,
see
it's like
it.
a little
Zoom
window, so
in.
you know they're not lying to you. You'll have to zoom in.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no camera person. I will zoom in editing. But the way they're constructed tends to make them a little bit heavier. So some people are like, not for me. And they're kind of in a class with Brooks in the way that they're constructed. They tend to be a little narrower in the midfoot, roomy toe box, definitely a roomy heel, and they're heavier. So when the Volos came, we were trying them on, like all of us were trying them on, but I was immediately struck by how light they were. So this is the Volo, you guys, and it's a very cushioned shoe. It has that gel blue shield. It has this really cool retro look. Like I hadn't had any white shoes before
It
this.
is a cool, I feel like it looks really trendy.
These are more, I'm kind of glad I'm looking at them because they're pretty. I think I've got about 200 miles on them, but I'm like, dang, it might be time for Mama to get some new Volos.
Any excuse to buy new
Any
shoes.
excuse. So these are fantastic. Daniel actually has been running in these for several
has.
months. He really likes these. So they look great. They look retro. They are, I've read between a 10 and an 11 millimeter drop. That's what you're looking at with these. I definitely recommend you try them.
On that note, that's high five
Favorites, new favorites. Oh, okay. How do you do a fist bump? We're so nerdy. Let's have another beer.
Just
See you,
kidding,
kids.
Daniel. Bye.
Bye. Hello? Oh my gosh, it's a celebrity signing!
I didn't see him.
There he